Plural subjects joined by or nor require a plural verb. We reviewed this the other day, but this is where we'll pick it up. The verb in the sentence is take. The subject, boys and sisters, are both plural, therefore we use the plural verb. However, if a singular subject and a plural subject are joined by or nor, the verb agrees with the subject physically closer to the verb. Neither the children nor their mother was ready. Was is a singular verb because mother is singular and it is physically closer. When I swap that subject and I make the sentence neither the mother nor the children, now children is closer to the verb, so I have to use the plural form were. For the words don't and doesn't, you can fairly well listen to what the correct answer is, and I don't think that this subject requires tons of attention, but you should know that the pronouns I and you require the plural form don't. Okay, moving on now to collective nouns. We covered collective nouns when we did the parts of speech. A collective noun is a word like class, audience, or family. A collective noun can be either singular or plural, depending on its meaning in the sentence. Be careful here. Just because a word is a collective noun does not mean that it cannot be plural itself. For example, the word classes is the plural form of the collective noun class. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about when a collective noun is used in the singular form, class, audience, or family. We have to look more closely to decide whether its meaning is either singular or plural. You use a plural verb with a collective noun when the noun refers to individual parts or members. When you are talking about the group as a unit, as a whole, you use a singular verb. Here's an example. The jury is ready with a verdict. In this sentence, the jury is the subject, is a singular verb. We've used the singular because the group is acting as a unit. They are rendering that verdict together. In this sentence, the jury are arguing among themselves. What has happened is that the members of the jury are now acting as individual members. There are several clues in the sentence to tell you that. First, among themselves. Themselves is plural, and it's referring back to the jury. The antecedent of themselves is jury, themselves is plural, therefore jury would be acting as a plural. The other clue is the concept of arguing. You cannot argue as a unit. You would have to be working individually, arguing with other individual members of the group. So for this topic, you need to employ a little bit of logic on top of your knowledge of grammar. You have to think to yourself, is this something that would demand that I do it as an individual, such as arguing or discussing? Here are some more tips. When the subject follows the verb, find the subject to make sure the verb agrees with it. That means that you shouldn't jump on a subject. In a sentence like here is a list, remember the words here and there are never a subject. So the subject of this sentence is list, which is singular. The subject of this sentence is lists, which is plural. Therefore, you use the plural are. So when you are doing subject-verb agreement, don't just look at the word that introduces the sentence. Make sure that the word you are using is actually the subject. A verb agrees with its subject, hence the topic, subject-verb agreement, but it doesn't always necessarily agree with the predicate nominative. The sentence, the marching bands are the main attraction. The verb is are, which is plural. The subject, the simple subject here is bands. Now, coincidentally, the word band is a collective noun. When you make the word plural, you do not have to worry about whether it's acting as a unit or whether the individual members are acting in a certain way. That's not how you determine number when you have the plural form of a collective noun. It was just a coincidence that this sentence had a plural collective noun, so the subject is bands, plural verb are, but then main attraction is the predicate nominative, and that's singular. That's okay. The main attraction can be singular as a predicate nominative. We had a similar sentence the other day. It said the actor and dancer was Gregory Hines. This was from the worksheet. And in that sentence, was is singular. We had been talking about how and generally creates a plural. So this was a sentence where we saw an exception. Actor and dancer are the simple subject and they are joined by and, but Gregory Hines is one person. So in that case, actor and dancer are describing or naming him. They're actually naming him. So we use the singular verb. And that's a situation where you can use your ear. It wouldn't sound right to say the actor and dancer are Gregory Hines. At this point, you should transition over to eBackpack and follow the directions for completing the worksheets. You will find them in classes and groups, in the folder called Grammar, in the Agreement folder.